2 o'clock hits, and your eyelids feel like they weigh a pound each. The screen blurs. Your thoughts slow to a crawl. And in that moment, you face a tiny fork in the road. Reach for the mug, or close your eyes for 10 minutes. Most of us grab the coffee without a second thought. But here's what almost nobody realizes. These two choices don't do the same job. They aren't even fighting the same enemy. One of them quietly clears away the exact thing making you sleepy, and the other simply tapes over it and hopes you don't notice. By the end of this, you'll know which is which, and why the answer flips, depending on the clock. So before you pour that cup, let's find out what's actually happening inside your tired brain right now, right? To understand this showdown, we have to meet the villain, and it has a name: adenosine. All day long, as your brain burns energy to think, move, and scroll, it produces this molecule as a kind of exhaust. Adenosine slowly builds up between your brain cells, and the more it piles on, the sleepier you feel. Think of it like sand trickling into an hourglass. The fuller it gets, the heavier your eyelids. This isn't a malfunction. It's your brain's honest fatigue meter, telling you it's been working and it may need rest. By early afternoon, that meter is often running high. So the real question in our nap versus coffee battle is simple. What does each option actually do about all that built-up adenosine? Let's put coffee in the ring first. When caffeine reaches your brain, it pulls off a clever trick. Adenosine works by docking into specific receptors, little parking spots on your brain cells that, when filled, whisper, "Slow down, get drowsy." Caffeine happens to be almost the same shape as adenosine, so it slides into those parking spots first, and just sits there, blocking them. The adenosine is still there, still floating around, still piling up. But now it can't deliver its sleepy message because the mailbox is occupied. That's the whole magic. Caffeine doesn't remove your tiredness, it hides it. It's a masterful bluff. Your brain feels alert, but the underlying fatigue signal is only being held back behind a locked door. Now here's the twist that trips people up. That door doesn't stay locked forever. Caffeine eventually gets broken down and cleared out of your system, and when it leaves those parking spots, all the adenosine that's been waiting outside comes flooding in at once, sometimes more than before. This can be why a coffee-powered afternoon can slump hard a few hours later. The very tiredness you postponed arrives with backup. It's not a crash in the dramatic sense, but it can feel like one. So caffeine is best understood as a loan, not a payment. It borrows alertness from later. Useful, sometimes brilliant. But it doesn't touch the sand in the hourglass. Which brings us to our second fighter. A short nap plays an entirely different game. When you drift off, even briefly, your brain finally gets a chance to do something caffeine simply cannot. Actually, clear adenosine away. Sleep is when your brain lowers those fatigue chemicals back down, resetting the meter instead of blocking the display. So while coffee covers the warning light, a nap unplugs the thing setting it off. This is the core insight of the whole comparison, and it's easy to miss. Caffeine manages the symptom. A nap addresses the cause. That's why, after a genuinely good short nap, people often describe feeling clear rather than merely wired, a quieter, steadier alertness. But naps come with their own catch, and it's all about one thing: timing. Here's where naps can betray you. There's a rhythm to sleep. In the first several minutes, you drift through light stages, easy to wake from, refreshing, gentle. But go longer, and your brain sinks toward deep sleep. And if an alarm yanks you out of deep sleep, you wake into something groggy and thick-headed, a fog called sleep inertia. Ever woken from a quick nap feeling worse than before you lay down? That's this. So the shorter, lighter nap tends to be the sweet spot. Long enough to skim off some adenosine, short enough to stay out of the deep sleep swamp. Get the length right, and a nap can be genuinely restorative. Get it wrong, and you may wake up wishing you'd just had the coffee. So which one wins? The honest, science-friendly answer is It depends on what you need and when. If you're facing a long stretch ahead and simply need to push through the next hour, caffeine's block the signal trick can be a reliable short-term ally. If you have a little time and want to actually reduce the tiredness rather than postpone it, a short nap does the deeper work. They're not really rivals, they're tools built for different problems. And here's the part that surprises almost everyone. You don't always have to pick just one. Some people combine them in a way that, on paper, sounds contradictory. It's often called a coffee nap, and the logic behind it is genuinely fascinating. Picture the sequence. You drink a coffee, then immediately lie down for a short nap. Sounds absurd. Why sip a stimulant right before sleeping? But watch the timing dance. Caffeine takes roughly 20 minutes to fully kick in. During those same 20 minutes, a short nap is busy clearing out adenosine. So by the time you wake, two things line up at once. Your fatigue chemical is lower, and the caffeine arrives to block whatever's left. The nap empties some parking spots. The caffeine guards the rest. It's a case where the two approaches may complement each other rather than compete. Now, this isn't magic, and it doesn't work for everyone, but it's a beautiful illustration of how differently these two choices operate under the hood. There's a bigger lesson hiding in all of this, and it's worth pausing on. We tend to treat tiredness like an inconvenience to be silenced. But that adenosine meter is information. It's your brain reporting, honestly, that it's been working and the pressure to rest is rising. Caffeine, for all its usefulness, works by helping you ignore that report. A nap works by responding to it. Neither is villain nor hero. But if you find yourself needing to override the signal every single afternoon, that pattern itself is telling you something. The most alert people often aren't the ones fighting fatigue hardest. They're the ones who've learned to read the meter instead of just muffling it. Let's clear up a few myths while we're here, because this topic collects them. Coffee doesn't dehydrate you dry. Moderate amounts contribute fluid too, and the mild diuretic effect is often overstated. A nap won't automatically ruin your night, as long as it's short and not too late in the day. And more caffeine isn't reliably more alertness. Past a certain point, your body may respond less. And jitteriness can crowd out the clarity you were chasing. The nervous system is subtle, and it doesn't reward brute force. Understanding the mechanism beats chasing bigger doses of anything. Small, well-timed moves tend to work with your biology instead of shouting over it. Now, a genuinely important note, and it matters. Everybody's chemistry is a little different. Some people break caffeine down quickly and feel fine after an evening cup. Others are so sensitive that a single afternoon coffee can keep them staring at the ceiling. Genetics, sleep history, medications, and general health all shift how you respond. So this isn't a prescription. It's a map of how the machinery generally works. What one person can do at 4 p.m. may wreck another person's whole night. If sleep troubles are a regular part of your life, that's a conversation for a qualified professional, not a YouTube script. This is education, a look under the hood, not medical advice for your particular engine. Step back, and the elegance of it all is kind of stunning. Your brain has a built-in tiredness gauge, running quietly, tallying every hour of thinking. Coffee walks up and covers the gauge. A nap walks up and turns down the pressure feeding it. One masks, one resets. And once you can see that difference clearly, the daily choice stops being a random reach for the nearest fix and becomes something almost strategic. Need a bridge to get through a meeting? You know your tool. Have 20 quiet minutes and want real relief? You know that one too. Same tired feeling. Two completely different biological answers. And now you're no longer guessing which one your afternoon actually calls for. So the next time 2 o'clock flattens you and your hand hovers between the mug and the pillow, you'll have the whole picture. You'll know that the coffee is a brilliant bluff, borrowing alertness against a debt that comes due later. You'll know the nap is the quieter genius actually paying that debt down, if you keep it short. And you'll understand why sometimes the smartest move is to stop fighting your own fatigue meter and simply listen to what it's reporting. It's a small daily decision, but it's built on a hidden negotiation happening inside your head every single afternoon. One you now get to steer on purpose. If getting to peek behind these everyday moments is your kind of thing, you're in exactly the right place. This channel exists to decode the strange, brilliant machinery of your body. The reflexes, the chemicals, the tiny negotiations happening while you're just trying to make it through the day. There's a new one waiting for you every week, each one turning something ordinary into something genuinely astonishing. So, hit subscribe and ring the bell, and let's keep unraveling how you actually work, one fascinating question at a time. Now go on. Pick your 2 o'clock weapon wisely. Your afternoon self will thank you.